Hello everybody. So in this screencast we're going to look at how to parse JSON arrays. So in the previous example we just looked at JSON objects. Okay, so you have the JSON object of a person, and then the person inside it there was another object which is the address and so on. Now to look at JSON JSON arrays, they have another example. It's another API which actually gets you persons. Okay, so basically it's the API gets you a list of persons, and you could see the difference between JSON object and JSON array highlighted here. If you look here, you could see that this is a JSON object. It has two values. The first, the key is status, the value is okay, and then you have persons, and then you see the square brackets here. These square brackets signify that this is an array of something, right? So now you could see that this is an array of objects because of the curly brackets. It's an array of objects, and each object is a person, right? So here's a person. It has exactly the same format as the person objects that we looked at before. Okay. So basically, it's an array. Okay, what's inside the array? It's an array of persons. Okay. How would you parse that? It's also straightforward. So basically, because it's an array, when we are casting the dictionary, we could tell it that this persons is an array of what? Of dictionaries, right? So because this is a dictionary, the person itself is a dictionary, right? So let's have a look again at our code that we used before for parsing a person. So basically it looked here. Let's pick up the same API. The API for it, it's persons.json. So basically there's just an S here, okay? Now when we run this, the problem is now we getting the data, right? This is everything, right? This is all the JSON, right? If you look here, this is everything, right? And then there is something called persons. So now how are we going to define this persons thing? So let's say we create an array, and that array is going to, let's say var persons equal, right? This is the persons array that we are going to hold, equals, it's an array of person. Okay, it's just an array of persons, right? So now when we are here, I want to get let persons JSON equals data of what? Person, right? Which is the same as the key here. Like, say for example, the key is persons, right? And then this is what? This is an array, right? So, but it's an array of what? It's an array of something. Okay, so basically it's going to be as what? It's an array, right? It's an array. What are the contents, the type of contents of the array? It's a person, right? Which is exactly like this one. The person is a string any, right? It's a dictionary of keys as strings and values as any. So basically if we do that, if we just do that, right? If we do this, and let's say we print it, we print just persons JSON, right? So basically we're just going to print the part of the JSON that represents the persons. Let's run it, and when it ran, you could see it here that let's remove the top print, this print, which prints everything that comes in, right? And here we are. You could see by just doing this kind of casting, it's an array, right? You see array start, array end, and it's array of what? Of dictionaries. You see this is the first dictionary, and then this is so this is the dictionary start, right? Dictionary end. You can look at it here also. So basically what it's very straightforward. You can see dictionary has the values. It has address, and then it has the name, the age of the person, the ID of the person, the name of the person, and so on, right? So basically, how do I loop? I need to loop over these persons and add them to the persons array. So basically the same thing. I could say let or for each person item in persons JSON, right? What do I want to do? I will say let person equals person of person item. So basically for each one of these dictionaries, this is basically what it's saying. Then you have an array, it's called person JSON, which is an array of dictionaries, right? So you are saying for each one of these dictionaries in the array of dictionaries, and that dictionary is basically, we could call it person JSON if this is going to make it JSON. Okay, so for each person JSON, create a person, right, for it, and then we'll say persons, our persons array dot append person, right? So basically we are looping over the arrays, and we're just reusing the code that we had before, and then instead of reference to person, so you just need self, right? So you need self dot. Okay. Now we could just print, we can print, or we can just run it and it will stop, and then we'll look at this person's array, what it looks like, right? Run it again, go here, we stopped here. If you look at self persons, it has 4 values. If you look at one of them, it's a person object. It has an age, ID, name, and address. And then if you look at the address of that person, this is the address information, which is exactly the address information for Bob Smith. You look at the next one, you could see that age is 22, which is the next user, right? And the name is Keely Bataris, and then so on. So basically you can look at the address also, you can see it's in Pittsburgh, and so on. So basically we were able to parse the JSON that's coming in as an array, and a loop over that array, and that is all possible because of the serialization, the automatic serialization that Alamofire provides. This is how we parse arrays, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.